Hello everyone and welcome back to the final episode of Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney Justice for All. In the last episode we were in trial. We had two recesses actually, because we need to keep this trial going for as long as we can until we can either save Maya or in some existential point prove our client innocent. Even though we all know he's guilty, even the audience knows he's guilty. So, all we have to do is just keep pushing forward. Gumshoe was on his way to the courthouse in order to bring some new evidence that was found, and on his way he crashed. This resulted in us contacting Franziska von Karma in order to assist. We don't know the results of what's going to happen yet, so, as a result, let's jump right into it. Here we go. March 23rd. We're really going into the afternoon on this one. Court will now reconvene. I assume both sides are ready. Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. I can understand the defense acting like this. However, why do you also seem distraught, Mr. Edgeworth? That is... It's nothing, Your Honor. What is with Edgeworth? Looks like something unexpected just happened to him. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you could please tell the court the result of the handwriting analysis on Miss Impax's suicide note. Yes, Your Honor. Unfortunately, we have discovered that this suicide note is a forgery. What? What do you mean, Edgeworth? This note was not written by Miss Impax herself. It is a fake. Interesting. Order. Mr. Edgeworth, would you care to explain what is going on? If this is not written by Miss Impax, then who wrote it? We would need more time to do more detailed analysis. However, it appears the handwriting matches that of the victim, Juan Carita. Mr. Carita? Well, it looks like Miss Impax never left a suicide note after all. She never wrote anything about Ungard. However, Your Honor, even though this suicide note is indeed fake, Mr. Ungard should have known that, so the facts remain unchanged. Acting under the assumption that it was real, he had plotted to possess it. It does sound very plausible, this theory that Ungard had no idea this was fake. The defense believes that the theory the prosecution has stated contradicts testimony. If everything the prosecution has proven up to this point is true, then it's impossible for Mr. Ungard to have known it was fake. What is this little item called again? A video camera, Your Honor? Well, a very small one, but... That's right, a camera. You kids and your fancy toys nowadays. Mr. Edgeworth, earlier you claimed that Mr. Ungard used the extent of this note because he was spying on the victim. Isn't that right? If that were true, then this means Mr. Ungard would have known that the victim had forged the note. So then the defendant knew this suicide note was a fake. And if that's true, then the situation has suddenly changed in a very dramatic way. Yes, Your Honor. The prosecution's theory as to what Mr. Ungard's motive for murder was has suddenly disappeared into thin air. But Your Honor, it's not as if Mr. Ungard monitored Mr. Carita 24 hours a day. Perhaps the victim wrote the note in a place Mr. Ungard didn't know of. Well, right back at you, Mr. Edgeworth. Why don't you show us some proof that the victim made the forgery in an unknown place? It looks like this time it is you who has dug his own grave. As I figured. As you figured. As I figured, it came down to this after all. You're not making any sense. When I heard the results of the handwriting analysis, I thought this might happen. The question is, what next? What next? If the prosecution can't prove Mr. Ungard's motive through the evidence, then we must prove it from another angle. One moment again. Sorry guys, my nose is really plugged. Well, not even my nose, it's like my sinuses. Well, I agree with you there. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to call a witness to the stand at this time. Well, that's fine. However, this witness is a little unusual. Edgeworth stuttering. This is not like him at all. Unusual? What sort of witness is this person, Mr. Edgeworth? This witness is one who is perfectly fit to answer, once and for all, the questions of who was it that hired Shelly De Killer to commit murder. That's impossible. Who in the... No such person exists who can answer that question with such certainty. It's, yes, go on. Who is it? The man himself. Mr. Shelly De Killer. Oh, Mr. De Killer. What? Shelly De Killer? You mean the killer? I mean the assassin? Yes, Your Honor. He's coming here, to the witness stand. Well, yes, in a manner of speaking. I recognize that this is a very unusual circumstance, so I ask for your permission. Well, Mr. Wright? Yes? This all right with you? The defense has no objections, Your Honor. I wonder if it's really all right to do this. Very well then. The prosecution calls the witness to the stand. Is there no other way left to us? Now then, witness, your name and your occupation, please. The transmitter! Very good, sir. My name is Shelly De Killer, and I am a professional assassin. I say, what is going on here, Your Honor? How can you remain so calm? And what is the meaning, this two-way radio? Actually, Your Honor, it was delivered to me just now, and it came with a condition. As long as we do not trace its source, Mr. De Killer will testify to this court. So this must be what that urgent phone call he got was earlier. Oh no, this will not do. I cannot allow this in my court. First of all, we can't even be sure this is Mr. De Killer himself. Witness, please present some sort of proof that you are in fact Shelly De Killer. I understand. Please wait a second. I'm so hungry. Maya. A voice? Mr. Wright, can you confirm anything from this? The defense has no objections to this person. We are satisfied that this man is indeed Shelly De Killer. Looks like we have run into yet another unexpected turn of events. It doesn't seem like we have too many choices under these circumstances, so... Now then, witness. There is one thing I would like to confirm before we speak of anything else. And what would that be? At the request of a client, you killed Mr. Juan Carita. Is that correct? It is as you say. I did indeed kill Mr. Carita. Now that we have answered that, let us move on to the name of your client. Very well. This is just a bad dream. Yes, that's it. A bad dream. Shelly De Killer, what is he going to say? Yeah, because if Shelly De Killer, unless he is physically trying to make it impossible for us to win. There is something I must first state. To an assassin, nothing is more important than the trust between a client and himself. And that is the reason I am here today, on the witness stand. It is my wish that you grasp this concept before I give the name of my client. Mr. De Killer seems to be a very clever man. I'd almost say he seems to be mocking us. While he may appear to be our enemy, Your Honor, Mr. De Killer is only stating the truth. He is no hypocrite. He has always stood by this one belief. You mean about his trust between his clients and himself thing? It seems to be a level of trust beyond what people like me can comprehend. Well, Mr. Wright, are you ready to cross-examine the witness? Yes, Your Honor. There's no way to know what's coming next, so stay cool and collected, Phoenix. This is very interesting and odd. There's something I must first state. We can hear anything you have to say later. Can you please just tell us your clients? I do not think you understand your place, Mr. Attorney. I said this is something I must first state. Do you know what the word first means? Sorry, go on. Well, it appears that one witness can't... This is one witness you can't badger, Mr. Wright. Only because you don't know about Maya's situation. The trust between you and your client. I provide my services in a fast and efficient manner. In exchange, I trust that my clients are discreet about me and my identity. If too many people knew my face, it would be quite troublesome. And that is why you're testifying in this manner. This is the first time one of my clients has ever been accused of murder. I must preserve the De Killer name so my clients can trust me. But couldn't someone stab you in the back and break your trust? It has never happened before, but if it ever did, yes, that person wouldn't be my client for very long. They would certainly. That's enough. Please, no more. Oh. I know where De Killer is going. De Killer is coming here to the courthouse. Because Matt did video footage. He has De Killer on camera. And this is just saying that if people know what his face looks like, then he can't do his job right. Matt literally killed himself. And that is the reason I'm here today on the witness stand. That seems a little strange to me. I mean, you're about to tell us the name of your client. I would think that this would be very bad for them. It doesn't matter to me. This client has already broken the rules and acted outside of the prescribed role. Their role. This person tried to implicate another of the crime in order to save themselves. And this is a trespass that cannot be forgiven. Who gave you the right to be so high and mighty? To the gentleman who spoke just now, excuse me, but would you care to die? I didn't say anything. The judge had better watch himself. Oh no, is he gonna try to blame her too? We understand, so please tell us the name of your client. I'm afraid I cannot do that. I still have a few things to say before I do. That egomaniacal. It's not good for your health to be so aggravated. You won't live very long if you let everything bother you. Somehow that coming from an assassin makes it less comforting. I don't really care about all this extra fluff. Just tell us the name already. Patience. Try to calm down a little. It's important to try and understand his mindset. He seems very steadfast and closed, so you're going to have to work to get him to talk. I'm not his therapist, you know. The trust between you and your client. I provide my services in a fast and efficient manner. In exchange, I trust that my clients are discreet about me and my identity. These are the roles and duties an assassin and his clients are to carry out. I'm sorry, but I was wondering about something you just said. You said that your client had already broken the rules. A person who frames another is the worst kind of human. And that's why you feel you can betray this person. I have no trust with the client who can't understand their assigned roles. Just my luck, an assassin with a conscience. Who would have figured? Now then, everyone, do you think you can understand my logic? This case just keeps getting better and better. If you can't, then I'm afraid we can't proceed. Everyone understands your point, I think. Really. In that case, I believe I'm prepared to disclose the information you seek. You've made it crystal clear that you value trust over all else. I believe we are ready. Excellent. And that is the reason I'm on the witness stand today. What is it? Now I can't bring myself to ask the client's name. If you can't ask Mr. Wright, then I will. Witness. What is the name of the client who requested the murder of Mr. Juan Corrida? Don't be Adrian. Don't be Adrian. Witness! That's not who you told me it was earlier. Pray tell, what are you talking about, Mr. Prosecutor? I should think I know my own client, and it is Adrian Andrews. What? This can't be. On the phone earlier. What's going on here? My guess is that Mr. De Killer just stabbed Mr. Edgeworth in the back. Stabbed Edgeworth in the back. I'm sure in order to get an audience with the court, Mr. De Killer told him a different name, Matt Ungard, perhaps. I knew it. This is outrageous. I was deceived. This witness is telling a very serious lie. But you were the one who summoned this witness. Shelly De Killer. My testimony is the truth. The defendant at the moment is Matt Ungard, am I correct? All I wish to do is help procure his acquittal. Wow. All of a sudden, it feels like we can actually win this. The prosecution has failed to provide a motive and has instead provided this suicide note, which is a forgery created by the victim. Furthermore, there is a possibility the defendant himself knew it was a fake. But more definitively of all, we have heard of the assassin himself, the name of his client. Mr. De Killer's client, who requested the murder, was not the defendant at all. No. With all this evidence, it is obvious to me that this means that Mr. Matt Ungard is innocent. It seems I have caused you all a bit of confusion. Please continue your discussion and call me when you have reached a verdict. Bailiff, please bring Miss Adrian Andrews in immediately. With the way this is going, Ungard will be found innocent. This may be our last chance to save Maya. Yeah, but Edgeworth is right. The killer is lying. And Ungard, my client, I know he's guilty. Can I live with myself if I win this? Who would have believed that the prosecution's own witness would absolve the defendant? Give me a moment. I apologize for the wait, guys. It's because this ending actually does have two endings, and I want to make sure that I'm not missing or catching myself in a catch-22, I guess, where I can't go back. Shelly De Killer is certainly lying under oath. It wasn't me. Listen, everyone, please, that testimony just now, it was all one big lie. Miss Andrews, the suicide note may have been a fake, but that man, Matt, he's the reason Celeste died. And Juan's death, it was all because he got pulled into Matt's twisted world. That testimony just now, you have to believe me, it was a horrible, horrible lie. But Mr. De Killer himself has testified. He has named you as his client. No, that's not true. Also, there's quite a bit of evidence that points to you. The knife, the button, the donning, the nickel samurai costume. But that's... You even have a motive. We know that Miss Celeste impacts was a large part of your life. And you wanted to follow her, and you wanted revenge against the two who hurt her. I would say you have plenty of reason to want them both dead. No, Mr. Wright. You know the truth. Tell them. Tell them the real story, who the real killer is. Tell them. Please, help me. I know the truth. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. I believe we have reached the end of this trial. Therefore, I ask the defense for any final words or opinions. We're gonna wait for the new evidence. Phoenix! I can't do it, Maya. I can't accept a not guilty. You are a lawyer. I know. But Matt Ungard is a killer, a murderer. I can't let him get away with this. I can't let someone else take the fall. If I let Miss Andrews be convicted, then I am no better than Ungard. And even though I don't want to admit it, I have to face the fact that it is because of Edgeworth that I now know the real truth. He could have gotten Ungard convicted so many times over, but he never took a single one of those chances. If I take this verdict right now, I'd be betraying his trust. His trust. I never thought about it until now. I trust him. Yes, you do. Mr. Wright, your opinion, please. The defense requests that we allow to further question Mr. De Killer. Am I hearing you correctly, Mr. Wright? Right. But that witness has cleared your client through his testimony. Your job here is done. I'm not done yet. To see through witnesses' lies and find the truth. That is my job, Your Honor. There's still more evidence to look at, and I'm sure that once those pieces arrive here in this very courtroom, a miracle will occur. Very well. The trial will continue. Mr. Edgeworth, please re-establish connection with Mr. De Killer. Right away, Your Honor. Has a verdict been reached? Before that, we would like to talk to you a little more. About? All you needed from me was the name of my client. What else could you need me for? Well, actually, we would like to hear everything you know about this case. That is how things are, usually done. What is he talking about, usually done? But what shall we have him testify about? Mr. De Killer, if you don't mind, please testify about your client in more detail. You legal people and your procedures. Is it any wonder no one likes to go to court? Okay. As I've already stated quite a few times, Adrian Andrews is my client. However, one thing I simply cannot overlook is tampering with the scene of the crime. My client did it to frame another for the crime. while pretending to be the first person to discover the body and enter the scene. Adrian Andrews already knew from the very beginning that Juan Carita was dead. But even more appalling is the creation and planting of the knife and button. That act is what I referred to when I said my client had broken the rules. This is a most unexpected turn of events for the fifth time now. However, this time everything has finally been revealed. Just a second, Your Honor. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth. We still have the cross-examination to do. But you don't need to question testimony like this. Do you, Mr. Wright? Your Honor, the defense will question the witness. As if I have a choice here. Why? What this witness has said is nothing but beneficial to the defense's case. If you scrutinize the testimony, then I'll expose the lies that the oh-so-beneficial testimony, I suppose. I don't understand what's going on anymore. That makes two of us. About my client, Part 2. As I've already stated a few times, the fifth statement. If she knew, why did she pour the cop? Thank you so much for taking the time to testify, Mr. De Killer. What is the meaning of that attitude? When Adrian Andrews entered the victim's room, your client had no idea that Juan Carita had been murdered. But how? How do you know that? From the wine glass, Your Honor. The glass? Mr. De Killer's supposed client thought Mr. Carita had only fainted, which is why this glass of tomato juice was poured for the victim. But isn't that just a part of Adrian Andrews' calculated plan? That's not possible, Your Honor. This glass bears the fingerprints of that person. Had this been planted, they would never have left their fingerprints behind. I see your point. Mr. Edgeworth, what is your opinion? Strangely enough, I had the same exact thought just now. Witness, how do you explain this strange phenomenon? Isn't it a waste of time to ask about such a minor detail? It's not a very important point anyway, correct? I'm afraid you are mistaken. If Adrian Andrews really is your client, as you claim, then your client should have had knowledge of Mr. Carita's death. If not, then that can only mean that Adrian Andrews was never your client at all. How strange. Yes? Why is it that the attorney has yet to raise an objection at this absurd situation? Phoenix. If the killer figures out what we're up to, we're in real trouble. Yeah, I know. Mr. Edgeworth, I'm surprised. You know you can't say things like that without any evidence. Ah, sorry. Well, that was an awfully weak objection from the two of you. Anyways, I'm positive there was a contradiction in that testimony. The prosecution requests further testimony concerning when the request was taken. Very well. Right now, I have to buy us more time. While we wait for the items the killer left behind to get here. I just know that the very outcome lies on those items. I think a dog just lied down in front of my door. This request came to me about a week ago. It was a request from my services on the night of the award ceremony. We met at a certain bar to discuss and finalize a few matters. That is what occurred. I trust my memory, and I believe I have made no mistakes. So you physically met your client, huh? That is correct. Meeting one's client is the first step to building trust, in my opinion. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. This one. So you physically met Adrian Andrews, correct? Of course I did. What was that? What was that brief pause? Witness, I would like for you to give us a few more details. I always meet my clients as a matter of principle. I've never taken a request by phone or mail. And why is that? That's because I value the trust between a client and myself above all. And the only way to establish that is to speak to the client while looking them in the eye. Well, Mr. Wright, was the testimony just now of any importance? Why meet his clients is not important. That wasn't the point. Witness, please stop sidestepping my question. What do you mean by that? My question was, did you meet Adrian Andrews in person? I have already told you, Mr. Wright, I did. It was only through talking to him face to face that I began to trust him. That's when I thought I can trust this person as a client. It's true what they say about talking face to face. Well, Mr. Wright. Well, first of all, if I heard what I think I heard just now, then I think I've got him. Your Honor, I believe the testimony just now was of the utmost importance. Really? If that's the case, witness, please include the statement just now to your testimony. Very well. From the moment I saw him, I thought I could trust this person as a client. But as we all know, that's not how it turned out, correct? What do you mean? Adrian Andrews turned out to be a client who couldn't stick to the rules, right? Well, yes, I suppose you are correct. Okay. Where is Adrian Andrews' profile? Objection! I would like to go over this one more time. You met Adrian Andrews at a bar and took the request at that time. Yes, that is correct. And that's when you thought he was trustworthy. How many times must I repeat myself? Yes, that is correct. I'm sorry, but that is an impossible tale. What? Shelly De Killer. You have never met the real Adrian Andrews. Why would you say that? Because you made one very big slip-up. About her. So what is the issue? What did you say just now? About her? If you had ever met Adrian Andrews in person, one would have told you that she is a woman. Oh, we just broke the receiver. Order in the court. Mr. Wright, what is the meaning of this? This witness testified to the following, that he always meets his client face to face, with his client when taking their request, but he has never met Adrian Andrews in person. Yes, Your Honor, that is exactly the point. That means Mr. De Killer's client could not have been Adrian Andrews. Oh my god, it's sweating oil. Mr. Edgeworth, I understand your logic on this one. However, why would the assassin make such a basic mistake? I believe it has to do with her name, Your Honor. Her name? Yes, Adrian Andrews is, without a doubt, a very androgynous name. Yes, I see. Unluckily for Mr. De Killer, the entire time he was on the stand, no one had stated Adrian Andrews' gender. And so he simply picked the wrong gender to go with. What? What is going on? Shelly De Killer. This court demands an explanation. I think somehow I must have mixed up this client with another. So does that mean you remember something different now? Yes, of course. Please, if you would allow me to testify once more. I know he's going to spit out more lies. Very well, but this time give us the truth, and nothing but the truth. Yes, now I remember. I took that request by mail. There have been many times when I took a job without having met my client. The request was for the murder of Juan Carita and 2 or 3 small things. When I saw the name of the end of the letter, I thought my client to be a man. So you took this job through a letter. He didn't mention anything about a letter in his earlier testimony, which means he's definitely lying. Be careful, Phoenix. If you break the assassin's testimony completely, it's over for us. I know. I can't make him suspicious, but I think we're okay. Like, we can do this. As long as he's standing there across from me, no matter how strong of a punch I throw, he'll counter it. Now then, let's begin the cross-examination. Taking a request. Two or three other small things. 2 or 3 other things. Yes. And what were these other things? A few other things that have nothing to do with this case. We do want to press further. Whether or not they're related to this case is for the court to decide. Mr. Attorney. Yes? Everything I have said from the beginning has been nothing but beneficial to your client, which is why I wonder what is pushing you to continue with this cross-examination. Could it be that you are planning to betray your own client? I smell the stench of a backstabber, and should you turn out to be one... Wait... Witness, this is a very important matter. Please cooperate and tell us what these other jobs your client requested were. If it's truly that important, I suppose I don't have much of a choice. The bear figurine. The bear figurine. After the assassination of the target, I was to find that figurine. I was told that this job was just as important as the actual killing. And where was that figurine? It was inside Mr. Carita's suitcase. And then what did you do next? I handed it over to my client right away. You gave it to your client. Interesting. This information certainly sounds important to me. Witness, please include that statement to your testimony. As you wish. One of these, and give it to Adrian Andrews. Shelly De Killer, if you had really given this bear to Miss Andrews, then this item should not have been inside it. This item. I see where you're going. Yep, that's where I'm going. Where is everyone going? Do I need to pack a suitcase? Your Honor, please think back to Miss Andrews' testimony. And I was going to burn it for her sake. Even if even for a single minute this bear had actually been in Miss Andrews' hands, I'm sure she would have taken the suicide note out and burned it. Order, order, order. So that's where you two are going. So by the very fact that this suicide note was still inside the bear, it tells us that your client didn't know how to dismantle the puzzle. Which means, it means, Your Honor, that it is impossible for Adrian Andrews to be the client. Oh! Order! 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 Mr. Phoenix Wright. We're going to save now. I'm sure I mentioned this before, how I hate traitors above all else. I think your cross-examination has clearly demonstrated something to me. You must wish to break your end of our agreement. No, that's not. That's enough. If this is your intention, then there is only one thing for me to do. Wait, please. Gentlemen, ladies, please excuse me. I have a matter that I must attend to. No, please. Not that. Please wait. Mr. Attorney, bring this trial to a speedy end and I may stay my hand. Otherwise... What in the... Mr. Wright, are you... Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. I didn't understand this witness's outburst just now. Do you think there's a need to hear more testimony, or is this enough? Well, we should... Edgeworth, we can't do this. If we keep this up, Maya, she'll... The prosecution... What has come over everyone? Even you are. The prosecution rests. What is going on around here? The prosecution has no further questions, Your Honor. What? Well, I never thought I'd see the day. This is the most unusual situation. If the prosecution rests with no further questions, then the prosecution has failed to uphold its stance. If that is the case, then even though I am reluctant, I must believe that Mr. De Killer's testimony is accurate. That would mean that Shelly De Killer's client is Adrian Andrews. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. If I end the trial here right now, then your client, Matt Ungard, will be declared innocent. And in his place, Adrian Andrews would be charged with murder. Yes, Adrian Andrews would be charged with murder. The prosecution has no further questions, and we will now hear the defense's final remark. Bailiff, please bring the defendant, Matt Ungard, to the stand. The items from De Killer's hideout didn't make it in time. We tried as hard as we could, but it looks like our time has run out. I can't believe it. The outcome now lies in your hand. Unbelievable. Dude, did the old guy finally decide? To be honest, I can't think of you as truly innocent or a truly innocent and good person. You've done enough evil to drive a woman to suicide. But, at least on the charge of murder, it would appear you are innocent. Ha. So, I guess even the old fuddy-duddy figured me out. Mr. Ungard. What an atrocious lawyer I have, giving his own client up like this. And that refreshing like a spring breeze crap. It's just as atrocious, don't you agree? Get on with it and pronounce me innocent already. Right, Mr. Lawyer? Should I side with justice or should I save Maya's life? You'd better get Ungard a guilty sentence. But if I did that, Maya will die. But if I say he's innocent, then Miss Andrews will be charged with the murder, as the murderer. Do I say he's guilty or not guilty? Either choice I make, someone's life is going to end. It all hinges on what I choose. Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear the defense's final statement on this matter. If the person who hired the assassin was Adrian Andrews, then your client, Mr. Matt Ungard, is innocent. There's no need to ask, old man. After all, my lawyer is going to say what I want, aren't you? Right. I can't do this, but I have to decide something. I can't count on the evidence to help me anymore. I have to listen to my heart. My client, Matt Ungard, is... We're going with guilty. This guy can't be out of court. We're waiting for your answer, Mr. Wright. Matt Ungard, your client deserves an answer. Maya, I'm sorry. Matt Ungard is... Franziska von Karma. Oh. What are you doing? Ow. You see now, don't you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? This is exactly why you should never take your eyes off that scruffy fool. Did you bring them? The final pieces, do you have them? You should know better than to ask that, Mr. Miles Edgeworth. Von Karma is perfect in every way. The evidence is here in perfect condition. Don't worry about Scruffy, he's fine, and his injuries are minor. All the items are inside this. What a filthy old coat this is. That's Gumshoes. I can spot its tattered rags anywhere. I apologize for its ugliness, but there was nothing else to wrap the items in. I fought long and hard for this whole trial, all for what is inside that raggedy coat. And I'm sure that inside the coat lies a crucial piece of evidence. Your Honor, inside that filthy coat are the defense's final pieces of evidence. Your final evidence? This trial is already over. All that remains is for me to hand down my verdict. I do not believe any evidence presented now would change the outcome of this trial. What? Your Honor, it is our duty to examine every piece of evidence down to the last. I request that Miss Von Karma be allowed to present these pieces of evidence. I suppose you are right, Mr. Edgeworth. I grant permission to do so. However, this one obvious rule applies here. If these items do not bring up any new points, then they will not be accepted by this court. Now, Ms. Von Karma, if you please. These pieces of evidence are items left behind by De Killer during his escape from the police. He must have been in quite a rush. Yes, Your Honor. De Killer left 3 pieces of evidence. Somewhere among the evidence we're about to see, there will be something that will turn this whole situation around, like a miracle. I'm sure of it. That's all we can hope for. The first item is a pistol. Does De Killer's pistol have anything to do with this case? Does that pistol have any relation to this case? We have yet to perform a ballistic test, so I can't say anything for certain. However, I believe it has something to do with this case, at least with me. That was the gun he shot her with. That's the pistol he used to shoot you, isn't it? That's what I believe, yes. Oh. I kept the bullet they removed from my shoulder as a sort of memento. I'm sure it will be an excellent sample for the test. So that's the pistol that was used to shoot Franziska. It's probably not going to help us very much. The second piece of evidence is this videotape. I bet the killer took that from Ungard Mansion. Have you checked the contents of the tape? Unfortunately, there was no time to. Oh yeah, but I would speculate that this tape is very important. Why would you say that? Because he came back to his hideout for it. Did the killer went back for it? That's right. It looks like he was trying to recover it. He injured 3 of the officers at the site. Somehow, it looks like they managed to protect it from De Killer. Shelly De Killer is no ordinary man. Contents unknown. The last piece of evidence is this bellboy uniform. Is that a uniform from the Gatewater Hotel? Was that used during the crime? I am almost certain it was. There's even a pair of black leather gloves in one of the pockets. There's no doubt about it, the killer was wearing this on the night of the murder. There's one thing I found interesting about this uniform. And what is that? There is a button missing on this uniform. A button. It's a very unique button. I'm sure if we were to recover it, it would provide us with an interesting clue. That's all I have to present, Your Honor. It's just as I thought. And what is that, Your Honor? I'm sure we were under normal circumstances. These items would be very important clues. However, our question is not who did the killing. It is who is the client. Yes, that is correct. And these items do not tell us anything about that. Thank you for your hard work, Miss Von Karma. You may step down now. Wait, Your Honor. Please allow me to examine this new evidence. Overruled. This court already has all the evidence it needs to hand down a verdict. Wonderful. Absolutely splendid. This judge is such a brilliant man, isn't he? I don't know why he's all cheery. I said we're going to call him guilty. Is this the end? Phoenix. I knew it. There's no such thing as a miracle in this world, is there? I think you're wrong. I think they do exist. But you have to make that miracle happen. You've come this far. You can't give up now. But no matter how you think of it, no matter how you think it's, try. For my sake. Just think about it for a second. There are two ways out of this situation for us. Two. The first. Make Ungard wish from the bottom of his soul for a guilty verdict. Huh? The killer will always place his client's wishes first. If Ungard himself wishes to be convicted, then he will let his hostage go. That may be true, but that's asking me to do the impossible. The second way. Force the killer to end his contract with Ungard. If the killer were to no longer think of Ungard as his client, then he would let Maya go. Mia, that's even more impossible. He's a man who values his duty towards his clients above everything else. I know both of these seem like impossible feats at first, but if you can make either one happen, it would truly be a miracle. The bigger problem is, the judge has already said he doesn't need any more evidence. The pieces he was just shown, he's not accepting them. Phoenix, think things through from the other side. Isn't that what has always worked for us? The other side. Wait, does she mean... You mean to turn things around. Phoenix, the judge says he doesn't need the evidence. If that's the case, then who does need it? The person who needs the evidence. We're gonna save. The defense, prosecution, and judge, we have seen all the pieces of evidence, and that is how we have come to know the truth. But there's one person who has yet to see them all, and that person does not know the truth. That truth, it may be what will bring about the miracle in the end. There's no objections this time, correct? Now then, I will pronounce my verdict. Why don't we all respectfully sit back and listen, kids? I have already told you, Mr. Wright. This court does not need any more evidence. I'm not saying it is us that needs the evidence, Your Honor. Then you want to show evidence to that person? Yes, Your Honor. Please, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, for you to ask with such passion, I will grant you one chance. One chance. Please show the evidence to the person who you think is the right person. We're going to save again. Ugh. That's impossible. To turn this situation around in one try. One try. That is all I will permit. I have to try to remember everything that has happened up to this point. Think, Phoenix. Think. There must be a way to save Maya while taking Unguard down at the same time. Now then, Mr. Wright, let's not waste any more time. Who would you like to show evidence to? Okay. We're going to cut. Okay guys, welcome. We faded to black for just a moment, and right beside me here, you're seeing a label that says which ending this is. This is not going to be the ending that we will rely on for this file, because this ending is obviously this ending. I don't like that ending. I really don't like that ending, but I want to showcase both endings of this game, which is why I was very persistent on where I was saving. So, for this, we are going with the bad ending. Bum bum bum. Of course, you guys already saw that I was already listed there. And because I don't really know what I'm doing, we're going to quickly... Okay. So this is the bad ending. I see. And now, tell this court... Oh. Oh. This is the bad ending. Literally just pick anything that is bad. The court is adjourned. And just like that, the case came to an end. I ran away from the courtroom and wandered the streets alone. I never saw Maya again. De Killer is a man of his word, so I'm sure he released her as promised. I heard the verdict of Miss Andrews' trial a few days later. She was found guilty, of course. The miracle never happened. Maybe it was never meant to be. Because a miracle is something that doesn't exist. I hate that. I hate that. To get the proper ending. To do the proper ending, you call Shelly De Killer. And the videotape. Well, what do you think, Mr. Edgeworth? I think there is some merit in showing the evidence to this witness. Bailiff, please bring in the transceiver from earlier. Alright, it looks like I've managed to convince him. Maya, she's okay, right? Didn't I tell you to concern yourself with bringing about a speedy end to this trial? Now, if I understand correctly, you wish to show me one piece of evidence. Yes. One is all I need. I have here a videotape. It was found at your hideout. I heard you injured 3 officers in your attempts to get this back. That was most regrettable. However, it was an order from my client. I was told to protect that videotape. I thought so. I'm afraid I seem to have failed in that regard. Do you know the contents of this tape? I was sternly told by my client not to watch it. So I have absolutely no idea. Actually, you are on this tape. Me? There was a video camera hidden at the crime scene. Your actions were being recorded. What? Is that true, Mr. Wright? Who was it that planted a camera? Well, the only person who could have placed a camera at the scene of the crime would be your client, naturally. That was Adrian Andrews. Be quiet and listen, Your Honor. Yes, sir. Your client specified a place and time for you, isn't that right? Yes. That was so they could film you. I had no idea. Mr. Wright, why would my client do such a thing? I would like to know why. Why did Matt Ungard film this crime scene? The reason why he did that is my ticket out of this whole mess. There's only one reason why your client would secretly film the crime scene. They wanted to blackmail you. They wanted blackmail on you. Your client once told me something very interesting. We were talking about you, and this is what they said. But I'm no weakling. I don't believe anyone, least of all assassins. Oh, come now, Mr. Wright. Assassins aren't above blackmail. Yes, that's where the video comes in. With that, I can keep him at bay and even blackmail him if I want. Your client didn't trust you at all. They were thinking of using this video to blackmail you. What do you have to say about that, Shelly De Killer? Oh. It looks like I was being deceived from the very beginning. Yes, by a natural. That is the kind of person they are. Your client is a person who only thinks and plots of how to use people around them to protect themselves from any and all dangers that may arise. That is the true nature of your client. I have one question for the witness. Yes. You told us one thing numerous times during your testimony. You said that you detest traitors most of all. Yes, that's right. But what if that traitor was your own client? What would you do then? That's obvious. I would break our contract in that case. And then, that client would become my next target. For the honor of the De Killer name, even if it takes an eternity, I would follow that person to the ends of the earth to exact my punishment. So I get both. I want Ungard to go get the guilty punishment so that he can live, and I've broken the contract. That's all I wanted to know. So the traitor becomes De Killer's next target. Ah, I get it. This is how we'll turn this case around. Mr. Wright. Yes? My contract with my client is over as of now. I seem to have a new job on my hands. I will now return to you your precious item. I'm not an item. Maya, I thought I'd never see you again. Thank goodness. This trial appears to come to its conclusion. However, I actually am I don't quite know what just happened there with the client and the witness and... Miss Von Karma, where did that... She always has you in her sights. Now, I do believe it's time to finally hand down the verdict. Mr. Ungard, it looks like somehow you got what you wanted. You'll finally receive the acquittal you wanted so badly. You should be happy. But before that, I would like to make one final statement. Sometime in the near future, a very betrayed assassin may appear before you. Needless to say, that man is very good at what he does. I'm sure you would understand what I mean if you watched this video. Help me. Now then, Your Honor, the verdict, if you please. Is that all right with you, Mr. Wright? We have finally reached the end of a very long battle. Whether he's convicted or acquitted, there's no escape for him now. Go on, Phoenix. Plead whichever way your heart tells you. Matt Ungard, even though I am a lawyer, I cannot make your crime disappear. I think a guilty verdict is appropriate here. Me? My wonderful self? Guilty? Even if you got an acquittal, the instant you set foot outside the detention center, your life would be in danger. No matter which way you look at it, you can't run away from your crime anymore. No! Oh my god. As always, it looks like we have uncovered the real truth. I don't remember you helping out much in this. Mr. Edgeworth, how is Matt Ungard? I've left Miss von Karma in charge of his incarceration. I'm sure he's getting a full course meal of whip leather right about now. Very good. That was a close one, wasn't it, witness? Yes. I plan to pay my debt to society for my own crime, Your Honor. The first time I was called to the witness stand during this trial, all I felt was despair. She must be talking about the time Edgeworth really went after her. I guess she's trying to forgive him for what he did. This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness. If you're going to say you would choose death, that's no concern to me. But after that, when I was alone at the detention center, that's the first time I really saw myself for who I am. And today, when the two of you used your combined strength to convict Matt, I felt like I've finally been saved. Wow, this is the first time I've ever seen her smile. I am really happy that you two were in charge of this case. I really don't know how to express how I feel at this moment. This is the first time I felt comfortable with myself, with who I am. Thank you so much, everyone. It looks like we have resolved everything at last. As for myself, there are still a few things I'm confused about, but everyone seems to be in good spirits. And that's good enough for me. That is all. This court is adjourned. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 3. You were great out there, Phoenix. What I did out there was right, wasn't it? This is the first time you've not gotten your client off. You've got them a guilty verdict this time. But you have to look past all that to what's really important. You now realize that there is something more than just getting a not guilty, right? Yes, I understand now. Phoenix, think back for a second. Think to the moment before Ms. von Karma arrived with the final pieces of evidence. Think about the incredible decision you had to make. Yeah, I chose guilty. I'm sorry, Maya. I know you would have been punished and been gone forever, but that man could not stay. I sided with justice. My client, Matt Ungard, is he guilty or is he not guilty? Those were your choices then, and your answer. Your answer spoke to what being a lawyer means to you. Right. Edgeworth, I have good news. Maya is now safe in police custody. Really? Pearls, you're telling us the truth, right, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, she's quite safe. She is on her way here as we speak in a patrol car. Mystic Maya, safe! You did it, you really did it, Mr. Nick. Ow, she punches deceptively hard for a kid. I believed in you. I kept saying to myself, Mr. Nick will save her. Mr. Nick will save her. Wah! Thanks. Oh, what's wrong? Miss Von Karma. About earlier. Thanks. Ow! Why are you still smiling? Mr. Phoenix Wright? You lost. Your perfect win record has now been crushed. And yet, you are still happy. I don't think you'll ever understand, Miss Von Karma. How dare you? Don't worry. She may in time. After all, I was like that myself until a year ago. Edgeworth. For my own personal victories and for guilty verdicts. I used every dirty trick in the book, and so my win record remained spotless. But a man appeared and stood fast against that selfish me. I fought him in my usual manner and tasted my first defeat. I felt like I had lost everything because of that. And then it was my turn to sit in the defendant's chair. And I was saved by that person I called my enemy. I couldn't forgive myself for all that had happened, so I left the prosecutor's office. And I left that note, Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth chooses death. As well you should have. A prosecutor who has shamed himself with defeat should crawl into a hole and die. But that was not what happened. After I left the prosecutor's office, I finally came to realize something. And it was in that moment of clarity that everything began to change. What foolish nonsense. We prosecutors use anything we can to attack the defendant, but every time we did so, no matter how desperate the situation, instead of giving up like most people, that man would hold strong with his undying faith. And then before I knew it, I began to trust in that man as well. What? You trusted your enemy? It doesn't matter how many underhanded tricks a person uses. The truth will always find a way to make itself known. The only thing we can do is to fight with the knowledge we hold and everything we have, erasing the paradoxes one by one. It's never easy. We claw and scratch for every inch, but we will always eventually reach the one single truth. This I promise you. The truth. Yes, that's the reason why prosecutors and defense attorneys exist. But I'm sure you knew that already, didn't you, Wright? That's why you couldn't forgive me. This man who went into hiding, isn't that right? This man who only had his sights set on victory, who ran away into the night. Is Mr. Edgeworth right, Mr. Nick? You really let me down. When you disappeared, I felt betrayed. The reason I decided to become a lawyer to begin with was because I believed in the things you said to me. All those years ago. Yeah, things from the first game. And you betrayed your own words. That's why 1 year ago, I made up my mind. I decided that the Miles Edgeworth I knew had died. At least that's what I told myself. You pathetic fool. Miss Von Karma, I don't want to hear the wretched whimpering of a disgraced loser. A Von Karma is someone who is destined to be perfect. Miles Edgeworth, you are no longer worthy. You are no longer worthy of being a Von Karma, and neither am I. It's over. It's all over. Franziska threw something on the ground just now. This is an electromagnetic receiver. Isn't that the thing she used to track Detective Gumshoe? I'll return this to the precinct later. There's something else. Isn't that Miss Von Karma's whip? I'll never set foot in another courtroom again. I'm sure that's what she's saying by this action. You should keep this, right? Okay. Nick! Maya! I kind of wish I was a bit more emotional. Mystic Maya! Mystic Maya! Oh, that's a beautiful shot. Oh, Nick, I knew you would come through. You got unguard convicted, like I knew you would. And on top of that, you even rescued me. Well, of course I did. I know I would. You know I would never desert you. But we sure pressed our luck this trial. You're really lucky to be standing here. Whatever. Look, it's over, okay? Besides, if I did croak, I would just come back and haunt you like a bad ghost through Pearly. Is it really that easy to do something like that? Thanks a lot, Nick. Don't mention it. Maya. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth! I'm relieved you're all right. Hey, it looks like you've made some real progress, Mr. Edgeworth. Well, I suppose I'm a little different from who I was a year ago. Oh, she's starving. Alright. I think it's time we get out of this depressing place. Huh? Where are we going? Food, Nick. Food. Grub. Chow. I'm starved. I'm so hungry, even you look like a nice juicy burger on a bun to me, Nick. You think I look like a burger? I'm a prime rib at least. Come with us, Mr. Edgeworth, please. If you insist. Alright, how about we hit up our usual burger joint? Don't be silly, Nick. Huh? This case messed up that awesome evening and got in the way of my gourmet food. So I've decided we have to make it up by having another feast. Another feast? Come on, Nick. Food. Oh, the big feast stuff. Gatewater Hotel. Hotel lobby. Oh my goodness. He's so bandaged. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. Gumshoe, are you alright? Yeah, but I'm really embarrassed. I didn't think I would hit the telephone pole of all things. A telephone pole. Then it wasn't a red light that got him. You did it again, city boy. I felt like a dear old heart was gonna give out on me. And I ain't joking. Yeah, it was more exciting than the very last episode of The Steel Samurai. Thanks. Now looky here, Mr. Snooty Prosecutor. Don't you reckon you bullied Mr. Wright too hard? If you don't start being a lot nicer to him, he might just kick it. Tonight even. I'll keep that in mind. Well, come on now. Everyone gather round. Y'all are gonna get your picture taken by a genuine professional photographer. Looks like Lotta bought herself a new camera. Well, pal, at least we can put this messy case behind us now. Come on, tonight's about eating, so let's chow down, pal. Amen to that. You know, when you think about it, you were the one who saved the day, Detective. Me? You really think so? He's right. If it wasn't for the 3 items you took, I think this trial would have had a very different ending. Yeah, very dark and depressing ending. You know, it's... Huh, wait. That's odd. When I ran off with the things from the killer's hideout, I was sure I took 4 things in total, sir. What? 4? Yeah, I'm sure I put one of them in my coat pocket. There was a fourth item? Aw, come on, y'all, it's over. But whoo boy, I'm tell ya, you really are something else. Between getting accused of murder and getting kidnapped, never a dull moment with you, huh? You think? Why does she look so happy about that? But being shut away for 2 whole days, weren't you scared? Yeah, it was really scary. I felt hopeless. So to keep my mind off things, I drew a picture. Sounds like you had it rough, gal. So where's this picture of yours? Yeah, I want to see it too. I want to see Mystic Maya's picture. You know, I don't know where it went. Aw, that's too bad. Well, it's alright. It wasn't anything important anyways. Ah. It sure is nice to finally see both smiling again. Uh-oh. Huh? What is it, Edgeworth? This thing is picking up something. Ah, that's Miss Von Karma's receiver. Thanks to her, I had the most awful experience of my life. So, oh no, she's approaching. I can't believe she stuck a tracking device on me. That's odd. Even though you're standing right here, the tracking device seems to be in a different location. Oh, it's probably busted or something, sir. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm afraid it's about time for me to excuse myself. I still have some work to do. Huh? But Mr. Edgeworth, you haven't even eaten anything yet. And you've eaten way too much, you glutton. I've had fun tonight. Now, if you'll excuse me. Wait. What? I just wanted to say, thanks, Edgeworth. You really saved me out there. If anyone should be saying thanks, it should be me, Wright. I feel like the words alone aren't enough here. I wonder if there's anything I can give him to express how I feel. What's this? Thank you. It's all thanks to you two. You and her. You don't need to thank me. I was only doing my job. Looks like Mr. Edgeworth has left, Nick. Hey, Mystic Maya. Yes, Pearly? I guess you two can go back to being lovey-dovey, right? You and Mr. Nick, I mean. But Pearly, would you cut it out already? You're embarrassing me. Anyway, so who's paying for this lovely dinner party? As if you need to ask. Everyone say thank you to Nick. Huh? Oh yeah, I'm kind of at the point where I can't even buy instant noodles, pal. So I kinda already put your name on the bill. Huh? Yeah, I got me in a situation just like that myself. There's this camera shop in this hotel, see? And I just bought myself this good old beauty here. It better be anyhow for 3,000. Huh? Actually, I reckon you bought it for me since it's on your tab and all. Huh? Isn't it great, Mr. Nick? Yeah, Nick. Why do I suddenly feel like screaming? Aw, you don't need to hold back now, you hear? Yeah, pal, time to let it all out. This is gonna be the first time I hear the real you. Go on, it's been a while since I heard you say it. I've been busy being a hostage and all. Alright then, if you say so. You really came through for me, Nick. I had to hide that letter, but I knew you'd find it. I really feel like I've been living on the edge lately. I mean, I've escaped death 3 times now. Pretty cool, huh? I feel like a pro. I'm getting body chills. This was a great ending. I'm so happy that you could save Mystic Maya, Mr. Nick. I'm so happy for the two of you. Speaking of which, I think this hotel is a popular place for honeymooners. So I sort of made reservations for the two of you, just in case. Pearly? She's like 18. I don't even know how old Nick is. Well, pal, it looks like I'm back on the force again. Mr. Edgeworth had a long talk with the chief, and he got me reinstated. I heard he said things like, letting that one go. I knew it. Crashing headlong into everything is the only way to live, pal. I love this slowly, step by step, through each character. Oh, it's Miss Bird again! The first case! I, Maggie Bird, am retiring this uniform today. I'm going to be a waitress from now on. And bring smiles and joy to the people who come by the restaurant, sir. I hope you'll stop by sometime, Mr. Wright. Oh, that's kind of a cute ending for her. Maybe her bad luck will be fine. Oh, Director Hody. Yes, are you a patient? Here to visit a patient? I'm Director... Recently? Yes, that girl, you know, I haven't seen her around. Yes. But I remember if I even laid so much of an eye on her, it would go crack. It didn't matter if I got whipped, though. Yes, oh. Did Von Karma become a nurse? A doctor? It's time to begin our quest of world circus domination, and to let the world know we are serious, I plan something. Hey Max, what do you think Zimbabwe is like? Do you think there are castles made of cakes and bunnies who can talk? I think if there are any talking bunnies, even they won't laugh at Mo's jokes. I like this step-by-step commentary. I'll give my thoughts about this game in a moment. I'm ready! There's no way these jokes are gonna fall on deaf ears. I'm gonna be more contemporary with my humor. Mo Curls represents. We got our new act all worked out. Prepare for the something. Say something, will you? You're supposed to start this off. Get on with it! Definitely is an interesting cast of characters that we faced. What's this? Drat, it's just an ordinary electric razor recharge stand. Can't believe this. Really, how long do they plan on making me do this? But it's Edgy Pooh's idea, so that must mean... But why do I get the feeling they wouldn't forget about me, would they? It's never like this in the old days. Oh my god. Wendy. And yeah, they did forget about her. Kind of good. It seems like this game had a smaller team. I appreciate everything you and Mr. Edgeworth did for me from the bottom of my heart. Oh, that's right. I received a letter from Miss Von Karma. She said that after I get out, I should feel free to consult her. I'm really thankful to have met everyone. It has become difficult for me in this country as of late. As such, I will take a short leave of absence. If you would like to request my services, please be sure to visit my thing. May we both be blessed with longevity. Oh. Gotta have a way to make sure the pieces don't get tracked. March 23rd, 9:42. International departures. International departures. Where are you going, Franziska? How did you know I was here? With this? That's... I heard you were planting things on I heard you were planting things on a certain person. Things like tracking devices in his coat, for example. That's just like you. I only planted it there because he was always wearing it. This filthy drab coat of his. I don't know how it ended up in my luggage. But it's going in the trash, I promise you that. Oh, that's right. Speaking of that man, he told me something very interesting. When I ran off with the things from De Killer's hideout, I was sure I took 4 things in total, sir. 4 things? It seems he put the last one in his coat pocket. He put it in here? It doesn't matter anymore. The case is already over. What are you going to do now? That's none of your business. Are you running away? Shut up. You don't understand a thing. You can't possibly understand what it means to be Manfred von Karma's daughter. Franziska. So many expectations from everyone around me. Expectations I must fulfill. I'm expected to win no matter what. And failure? Such a thing is not an option for me. My father was a genius. There's no doubt about that. But me? I'm no genius. I've always known that. But I had to be the one. I had to. You may not be a genius like your father, but you are a prosecutor. You have been and always will be. No, I'm not. Not anymore. I've even thrown my whip away. Speaking of that, Wright gave me this to hold on to. Right? You knew something like this would happen, didn't you? I'm going to say this again. We prosecutors do not fight for personal honor or pride. I hope you will think deeply about what you should be striking down with that whip. You haven't changed a bit. You've always left me alone and walked on ahead without me. Miles Edgeworth, I've always hated you. And then, finally my chance to take my revenge on you arrived. If I could win against that man, if I could make Phoenix Wright bow down in defeat, then this girl you left behind would have risen higher than you. That was supposed to be my revenge. Oh, I see. You know, I can't do it. I can't change who I am. I can't throw away everything I've been until today. I believe you can. Just like how Adrian Andrews did. Adrian Andrews? You were going to use her during the trial, right? But you were dependent on your father by using his tactics, isn't that right? Today, you chased after me after I had left you behind all these years. And that's why we're standing here now, side by side. But I have no intention of stopping. If you say you're going to quit your walk down the prosecutor's path, then this is where we part ways, Franziska von Karma. Like I said, she is a much better designed character than Manfred. I am Franziska von Karma. Don't think I'm going to walk in your shadow forever. Our battle begins now, so you'd better prepare yourself, Miles Edgeworth. She's a much better designed character than Manfred. Phoenix Wright. One day, someday, I'm sure we'll meet again. In battle. Until then, this last piece of evidence that never made it to you, I'll take good care of this 4th piece. It's Maya's picture. So I can give it to you when at last we meet again. It's gonna be Maya's picture. I'm not crying, you're crying. I'm still not crying. Oh. Okay, guys. That is going to be it for this episode and series of Phoenix Wright, Justice for All. The next time we tackle this series will be in the future when we take on the third game. I'm still crying and tearing up. Oh my god. The next time we tackle Phoenix Wright will be when we take on the third game of this trilogy. I have no idea what's going to be on it. I am going to do the third game similar to how I did this game, where it will be YouTube episodic based on investigation and trial periods. The reason why is because I have a lot more control over how to establish the episodes, how to research where to go when I get lost or hit a dead end, and that sort of thing, so that it's a more fluid and consistent series. This has been really fun, and I was not expecting this ending to get me so crying and tearing and emotional. My god. I think I'm so emotional because I love Franziska as a character, and the fact that her revenge wasn't actually on Phoenix Wright. Her revenge was on Miles for leaving her behind, and she was trying to prove her worth. I'm tearing up again. Okay. It is... I can barely get through sentences. If you guys enjoyed Phoenix Wright, Justice for All, please leave a comment in the comment section below, mash the like button, and subscribe if you have not, because the next time we tackle this, we're on the final game. And that's not it for Phoenix Wright. We do still have a second game, which is the Chronicle series, to tackle as well. But in order to keep all my projects a bit more interesting, we are going to give some time between projects. So, if you guys are interested, please leave that comment. I want to know you guys are interested in Phoenix Wright, because then I know that you guys are equally invested in this series. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. Later.